Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Dino. You know, it is an absolutely cold, wet December day out there. It's December 23rd, it's about 2 degrees and it's been raining all night. But today, I want to do something a little bit different and take a look at a new product that one of you recommended that I buy. Now, I haven't tried this unit before. I'm going to get it out for the first time today, give it a test run, and see how it functions. So why don't you sit back, grab yourself something warm to drink, and enjoy Dino's Tanker Shed. I'll see you in a minute. Whether you're new to power sports or, like myself, have been involved in them for a while, good tools are an essential to make your job easier. Now, for me, my sort of interest in tools and motorcycles started back in 1980. This time of the year, in fact, it was Christmas 1980 that my parents gave me one of the most influential gifts that a young person could ever get. And that was a Honda 50 mini trail. It was used. My father had spent the entire summer getting it tuned up, cleaning it, polishing it, touching up the paint. And on Christmas Day, I received a beautiful red and silver Honda mini trail. Now, the bike itself was lots of fun. It taught me how to ride well, the safety of wearing helmets and personal protective equipment. But really what it taught me was the importance of how to repair equipment like that. You see, my father, although was quite mechanically skilled, really didn't like working on this kind of stuff. So I was kind of on my own to learn my way through the different systems and processes that Honda 50 presented to me. And as a young person, I didn't have many tools. I sort of borrowed them from my father, and it was things like adjustable wrenches, slip joint pliers, things like that. And what you quickly learn when you own a motorcycle is you are going to come across fasteners that are seized in place. Specifically, you're going to find what looks like Phillips head screws, machine screws, on your case covers or maybe your clutch cover that have seized in place, and there's no way to get a wrench on these, and it's difficult to get them out. At first, of course, I'm trying to use just standard Phillips screwdrivers on these bolts, and they do cam out because now I am well aware those were Japanese industrial standards fasteners, and they have a bit of a different profile than what a Phillips head has. The other thing I was lacking was the ability to apply some impact rotational force on them and break those stuck threads free. When I was about 16 years old and started playing around with RD350s, well, this tool here was brought to my attention. And what this tool is an impact driver. You can put different types of bits in the end of it, you set it into the fastener, and then strike the end of it with a hammer. This both drives the tool in and rotates it, allowing you to get the fastener broke free, and then you can use a standard JIS screwdriver and thread it out the rest of the way. Now, over the years, I've added things like electric impact drivers to my tool inventory, which makes things much, much easier. But every once in a while, I still do drag this out for some operations that need a lot of power. About 3 months ago, I did a video on impact drivers, and right after that, one of you reached out, and that person was at Volvo GT21 and said, there's a new tool on the market that you probably should try. And that new tool is this Vessel Impacta screwdriver. This takes a very high quality screwdriver first and combines it with this tool here, allowing you to strike the end of the screwdriver, and get 12 degrees of rotation on the screwdriver bit itself. Now obviously this is not as heavy duty as this one here, but if you are facing smaller fasteners that are stuck in either with a little bit of blue Loctite perhaps, or just sort of a bit of corrosion over the years, this screwdriver is supposed to be the answer. And they were very excited to recommend it to me. Now I've had this for almost 3 months. I ordered it right away. It's been sitting in my drawer, and today I've got a little bit of time, so I want to try this thing out, and you're going to get to see firsthand how this thing works with me. So let's put it up on the bench. We'll have a little bit of a look at it closer up, and then we're going to try it out with some fasteners that I think I'm going to use the bench vise for, to see if we can replicate a stuck fastener and see if this will take it out or not. Okay, let's get over there and let's try that out now. Here's the Vessel screwdriver, and you can see it does come with a strikeable end on it. Really nice over molded grip. And of course the JIS #2 tip on the end, which appears to be nicely hardened. I'm going to slide this out of the package here, if I can. Let's see. I think it goes like this. There we go. And let's see what some of the features are here. And I'm just going to use my translate on my phone, and we'll see what it has to say. I've been translating more of the information on here, and what it says is this is supposed to rotate up to 12 degrees when it's struck with a hammer. That's quite a bit of movement, really, and I'm hoping we'll be able to capture this in the vise. But overall it feels really good, and I do have some JIS screws here. These are probably #1 screws. Maybe they're pretty small, but you can see that little dot there indicating JIS. So I'll just see how they fit. Oh, and it is magnetic too. The tip is magnetic. And oh yeah, that thing has a great bite. So just as a general screwdriver, oh, I can really put some torque on that. Just as a general screwdriver, this thing gets a good mark for me. It fits in that slot just beautifully. It's nice and sharp. It feels very positive even in these smaller screws. So from the perspective of just a screwdriver, this thing's pretty good. And the overmolded rubber here feels great in my hand. So this is really good. There's your striking end there. So let's set up the cameras and see if we can actually capture that and get it to work the way they say it will. Here's what I've come up with. This, I am pretty confident, is a JIS fastener, even though it doesn't have a dot on it. I'm pretty sure this came off of my DR650. It's definitely metric. And what I've done is I've taken two 10mm nuts here, which are, I don't know, M6 or something. And I've locked these down as tight as I can get them so that the fastener is wedged in there. It's locked into these two nuts. I'll put these into the vise, and then we'll hit it and see if it turns that fastener in the vise itself. I realize it's not going to be super tight in here, but I really just want to see if it turns or not. So I'll set that up in the vise and see if I can get some good quality shots of this so we can see it working. So the first thing I notice is it does fit in here rather well, even though the fastener is somewhat damaged. I'm going to give this a little bit of a hit and see if I can feel anything here. I'm going to use I think it's a 3-pound maul on it. I grip the handle really tight. Well, I can feel it wanting to turn, but maybe I'm stronger than I thought, and it's not turning the fastener in here. The tip seems undamaged, which is good. and the fastener's undamaged. But maybe I've just cranked this down so hard that it's not going to move it. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to try my impact gun and see what happens here, if it'll free it up. Yeah, so that backed it out like nothing. So although I can feel this moving, it just doesn't seem to back it out as easily as an impact does. Well, that's more than just a little bit disappointing. I mean, I was hitting that with this hammer here as hard as I could. And like I say, I could feel it twisting in my hand. And maybe I just couldn't quite hold it strong enough to make it turn. But I have had such great success with the old style impacts that I thought this would work perfectly. And I'm wondering too, maybe a lot of the energy is being driven and the nuts are being driven down into the vise. I'm just not sure. Whereas the gun, the beats are definitely a rotational impact versus a straight vertical with a rotational built in. But I will say, I hit that really hard. The tip is just like new, like nothing's bent. The flutes aren't twisted at all. I would be able to sell that as a new screwdriver, other than the head's got a couple little whacks on it, which really aren't much. But that is the Vessel Impacta, which doesn't seem to be impacting me all that impressively at this moment. Well, what do I think of this Vessel Impacta driver? Well, let's talk about it first as just a JIS screwdriver. This is a well-built tool and it feels very good in the hand. In fact, I think I like it better than my Go Fast Industries JIS screwdriver set. I've never been really fond of these rubber dimples, but I do like that ability to put a wrench on the end of these. And I also like the extra length that the Vessel has. This is a good choice if you're just looking for a number 2 JIS screwdriver. I don't think you're going to go wrong with this. Again, the tip fits very solidly, maybe even a little more solidly than my Go Fast Industry JIS screwdrivers in a standard fastener head. So as a screwdriver, you know, it's probably worth the $20 or $22 I think I paid for this on Amazon. But what about the rotating feature, the 12 degrees of rotation that it's supposed to do? Well, I'm going to be honest, I didn't seem to have much luck with it on the bench, but there's a caveat here that sometimes things on the bench don't translate well to jobs on a motorcycle or something other like that. So I'm going to reserve my opinion on that for now until I've had a chance to really use this thing in the real world. But if you asked me right now, what would I buy? Would I buy one of these or a traditional hammer-driven impact tool? I would tell you right now, buy the hammer-driven one. I've always had good luck with those. They work, you can see them turning, they're very effective. And if you can, I would say this is the more precise tool and most effective tool for getting out stuck fasteners. Those large impact drivers aren't really good for smaller fasteners that are stuck, whereas a drill driver with a good quality driver bit on it oftentimes will remove a stuck fastener. So if you're buying this strictly for the impact function, at this point anyway, I don't know if I would recommend it. I don't think I would. And maybe if at Volvo GT21 is watching, you can give us some of your experience too in the comment section on your experience with it and how much luck you've had with it. And maybe I'm doing things wrong here, and that's why I'm going to continue to trial this and come with a another few months of working with it, I'll give a further review on it and tell you if I've had any more success. But I do know, and I will say this again, I was hitting this thing with a 3-pound maul pretty aggressively, and the tip is still in excellent shape. The long shaft that's on this, that gives a lot of leverage, is still straight and true. I rolled it across a straight edge and nothing's bent, nothing's damaged. So it is a good quality tool. I just don't know if the impact function on it is as good as I had hoped for, because I just couldn't break those fasteners free. And then, like I said, I used this guy and instantly it cracked that adhesion. So anyway, that's what I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit rambly, I know, but I want to make sure that I get out there my opinions as they're formulating in my head on different tools when I review them. I don't do a lot of tool reviews because they're so subjective. Some people may look at this and go, oh my gosh, never use a drill driver on fasteners, whereas others might go, get a 3/4 inch air drive socket, you get everything out. So until the next time, I'm Dino, and I really hope you're having yourself a great day. And I hope to see you soon back here at Dino's Tinker Shed. You tinker easy. Bye for now.